game. I said, you guys are the number 2 team in the country, and you are by far the best team we've played all year. They've got some really good-looking kids. Obviously, John Matoka is no slouch. Their receivers were making play after play after play on Saturday, and they're a good outfit. They're going to be a tough team to beat.
Well, when you look back at the game, though, Phil, I'm sure you looked at it, and I was trying to tell the listeners, and Joe and I were both trying to convey it. When it's 17-7, you have the ball with the wind in that second quarter. Just did not take advantage of a couple opportunities. Very realistically, could have been leading if you take care of business with the good field position.
So we got that turnover, and we had the ball on the 14-yard line going in with the wind, and we get an errant snap, push us all the way out of field goal range, which really hurt us. And then two series later, we get the ball on our own 25-yard line. There was I don't know if you guys saw this live or not, but we had our punt return team out there. Andrew Cook's out there, waves for a fair catch. The ball goes into the end zone, and one of the Mines players just absolutely annihilates Andrew and does not get called. And that would have put the ball on the 40-yard line, and that completely changes how we call that play, how we call that game, and we go 4 plays, first down, and then pick 6. And that was a tough one right there before the half, because realistically we had three opportunities with it 17-7 that if we make plays on those, or at least capitalize on the field position for the field goal, then we feel a lot better about it going into half, and that one hurt us.
Did Chance just not see him?
Yeah, Chance didn't see him, and I think we got to do a better job as coaches too, because that with what they do defensively, they have those overhangs that are able to drop into the hook curl area or into the flats, and that's exactly what that kid did, and Chance didn't see him. Chance got hit on the forearm pretty early in that game, and it really affected him the rest of the game, and he's been doing rehab and all that this week, and looks and feels a lot better, but that he was struggling there in the third and fourth quarter, and I think it was pretty apparent.
Well, Jim noticed he said he kept trying to get his arms. It was like he was trying to get his arms loose. He was trying to. We saw him flexing his fingers. It was one of those something. And I think you even said there's just something amiss.
He took a forearm right to the throwing, or excuse me, a helmet right to the forearm.
Probably stinger, and then it probably just deadened it.
And he I don't. Jake, our trainer, they've done a good job all week of getting him back and getting him ready, and he's looked good. He's looked good the last couple of days of practice, but it affected him. It affected him on Saturday, and thankfully we got a run game going a little bit on Saturday, and we ran the ball really well against a really good team. Honestly, I told Ben this earlier in the week that if you would have told me we're going to rush for over 200 yards against Mines, I thought we'd win by 10 points, and so really, really proud of our offensive line and our running backs, and really they just put their head down, and I said it's going to be nasty. We got to pick up 4 or 5 at a time, but if we're able to do that, then one's going to pop, and it did.
Well, and it was in the pass pro where you struggled because they just send guys from everywhere, and disguising coverages, and and they would be able to get there in time.
Yeah, it was
enough to move it,
Yeah, and it was a lack of communication on a couple of those sacks that you just can't have happen, and looks, we practice all week, and we get into the game, and we didn't communicate it, and we get a guy free, and Chance gets strip sacked on one, and it's just that's the kind of stuff that we got to clean up and we got to be better at. Ultimately, on Saturday, I felt like that game came down to teams making plays, right? And when Mines needed to make a play, third down, whatever it was, they made a play. They found a way to make a play, and we didn't, and hats off to them. They're a very good team. We're not there yet. We will be, but we're not there yet. So I told our staff on Sunday, we come back, we reflect, we look at the film, and we need to be able to temper our emotions. Obviously, we played, in my opinion, the toughest Division II schedule in the country so far.
Well, I read they're 10-1 combined.
10-1
collectively,
combined.
the first 3 opponents.
But we also, as we build this thing, we've got to look at our team and say, okay, how do we consistently beat Grand Valley? How do we consistently beat Mines? How do we consistently beat Western Colorado or the top of the RMAC, whoever that is, right? And you look at it and say, okay, we need to build this thing that way. And obviously it always starts up front, and we're very young up front, and we're going to be even younger this weekend.
Great.
So, we got that. We have 11 offensive linemen out right now. And
sick or hurt or both?
Couple season-ending things. We've had
season enders.
Yeah, unfortunately. So we're there's no substitute for experience there, and we're going to get a lot of it.
Under fire, go.
No doubt,
right?
No doubt. So we're going to bounce back, and it's been a really good week of practice, and excited to watch these guys go tear it loose at Fort Lewis, and all week long I've been showing them clippings of the recaps of 2017 and 2014 and I was like, hey, you guys know what happened in 2017? And they're like, we won an RMAC championship. I was like, that's exactly right. And we also lost at Fort Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then same thing in 2014. I said, you know what happens in 2014?
They won the Natty.
They go to Sam Houston. You guys I'm sure were there.
Yeah, we were there.
Beat Sam Houston at Sam Houston. And then go to Fort Lewis and lose in 42-game win streak cut. Boom, right then and there. And, show them the weather. Obviously, it looks like there's going to be some chance of rain on Saturday. And at 2014.
Yeah. Well, there was a 2-hour rain delay with no rain.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just
lightning
hanging
off to the edge.
25 miles away, and they just kept, that 2014 thing, that just shows about football on any given day. There were twice where on a punt, gunners would go down, the ball would hit the gunner. And then Fort Lewis to recover.
Yeah, that's tough.
And it was things like that, and you let a team hang around, and anybody can beat anybody on any given day.
There's no doubt.
And they haven't won a game since 2019.
I know it.
So you don't want to be that guy.
No.
No, you don't want to be that guy. No offense, but
no,
you don't want to be that guy.
No, we don't. And that's, again, we got to take care of us. We got to go and hopefully, finally, we can put a game together. We still have yet to do that, and hopefully we can get that done this weekend and play to our standard and, pack versus the pack. That's what it's been about every single week. If we can take care of us and make plays when we need to, and we're going to be, we've proven that if we take care of us, we're one of the toughest teams in the country. And if we don't make plays and we can be very average. And so we've got to find a way to be consistent in that.
Well, the things to build on, though, as you mentioned, the ground game, much better. It broke some big runs, of course, the huge run, the 87-yard touchdown run, but there's some other runs that were really key in that ball game, I thought.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Again, the offensive line did a really good job, and against a team that we knew was going to overload the box. They're going to put 7 guys in the box at all times, and again, the mentality of our running backs that week, we told them, we got to get downhill. We got to get downhill, and it may be 2 yards, it may be 3 yards, it may be 4 yards, it may be 87 yards. But it's not going to be 87 unless you get downhill and protect the football. And both Howard and Keon did a really good job this weekend of putting their head down and getting those tough yards. And if we don't take those sacks, we rush for over 250.
Well, and you talk about those 4-yard gains. We mentioned that on the air. They were good, hard-earned 4-yard gains, but you'll take 4 yards of carry.
Absolutely, keeps you ahead of the 6.
Yeah.
You go 4 yards, now you're 3rd and 2, and we got to win in 3rd and 2, and so that's, again, we're going to continue to lean on our run game, and I think they took a major step forward this last weekend against a really good opponent.
Well, plus one of your other goals was to get more people in the rotation.
Yep.
Everybody got in there for a little bit on the running game, and then even some receivers. You seemed like you had 8 deep there as well.
Yeah, again, we got to. Guys are proving it in practice, and that was the thing with Howard. He hadn't really played offensively since Midwestern State.
Right.
And he came in and said, Coach, what's going on? What do I need to do? And I was like, I need to trust you. It's not a physical thing. It's, can I trust you? And can I trust you to do your job? He said, okay, Coach, I'm going to prove it. And I said, how do you prove it? He said, in practice. And did a great job all week, got his opportunity, and physically, we tell all of our guys, we tell all of them, listen, the best player is going to play. That doesn't mean the most talented player. That means the best player. That means the guy that we can trust to do his job every single play. If we can trust you to do that, then you're going to play over guys that maybe physically are more talented, and Howard proved it last week and did a good job on Saturday.
Well, we already talked about Chance and his injury. I thought we'll get back to that, or we'll talking about it earlier. it was very noticeable in the first half. There was no zip on the ball, I thought, and that's why I was kind of concerned. I thought there might be something wrong with, but it came out in the second half. It was a totally different person. So whatever maybe that "don't hurt no more" spray my mom used to call it, when you put that on you, or got something going in the second half. The ball was coming out hot, and coming out where it needed to be on time.
Yeah. Again,
He hit a helmet or something, or just
helmet contusion on his forearm, and it bothered him all game long. I don't know, it's one of those things where ice, stem, rehab, cold tub, all those things, and he's feeling better. So we'll see.
Well, during the game, you can't really ice it, so that's the problem. Once you go to the ice, you're out of the game. So you just had to kind of figure out a way to get him going, and it was obvious in the second half did get him going. Defensively, that's a tough team to try to stop. You got some stops against them, though, in that second quarter. I mean, your team had a chance there in that second quarter to get things going. They hit a couple big plays on you in the second half.
Yep.
And that's
wore down a little bit in the fourth, and they scored 21 points in the fourth quarter, and that obviously hurts you. But I'm not going to make excuses. We gotta play better on offense and defense, and we gotta find a way this weekend to get it done.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll have more of the Phil Vigil Show. Should tell you that the show is brought to you by Rustler Implements. Located in Pueblo and Rocky Ford, they're your local premier Kubota Case International Harvester in New Holland. Please like their Facebook page for a chance to win 2 $100 Visa gift cards and receive updates and promotions. And, they're the same name, same family since 1960, Joe.
Rustler. Love the Rustlers. Love all the Rustlers out here. You just go, you need onions? You need beans? Go see Tommy.
Well,
right?
if you need that Haymaster thing, they
you
got
go
that.
See
That's featured on their
see
deal.
Bart, right?
All right. Okay, we'll come back after this timeout. More of the Phil Vigil Show right here on Fox Sports Pueblo. And welcome back to ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House, Phil Vigil Show. Brought to you by Rustler Implement. They're located in Pueblo and Rocky Ford, your local premier Kubota Case International Harvester and New Holland dealer. Please like their Facebook page for a chance to win 2 $100 Visa gift cards and receive updates about all of their promotions. Same name, same family since 1960. Proud sponsor of the Phil Vigil Show. Of course, we're at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House tonight, and where is my little card, my little paper? It's pint night. There it is, right there. It's Sweetwater Brewing here tonight. He's walking around. How's it? Everybody like it? There he is. Look at it. We can have a sample on the air. I can have a sample on the air. That's all right. Here we go.
Now,
Howard,
you can't.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
I would drink that.
That's the hazy IPA, citrus ale, and the blueberry weed. I don't know which is which, but that was good. So I'll have 3 when we're done. I don't want to discriminate.
Well, no, you got to
try them all. But that's where we're at. Come on down and join us here at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. I guess Ryan's still on vacation. He's out touring the country out on his family.
When I talked to him last, he was in Vegas. So
nice.
Yeah, he goes everywhere.
All
right, time for a question and answer segment here. If you have a question for the coach, we're still taking them here. 719-671-7574. That's 719-671-7574. Or you can tweet Joe on the old X machine.
The X Twitter. I have one.
All right, you want to go with yours first?
Well,
go for it.
And Coach already alluded to it. We talked a little bit about it on the air following the game Saturday. He said this is the best team we've played all year. I had a question of Mines versus Grand Valley. They played each other and Mines beat them. Mines better in your eyes as an opponent that you had to prepare for or play?
Yeah, I think offensively they're a little bit more dynamic. I think that they have a really good run game, just like Grand Valley does. But their receivers are, man, those guys are. If it was anywhere close, they were making contested catches all night long. And Matoka is obviously the best player in the country,
right?
And so, whenever you have him in back there, you're going to have a chance to win games. And he's just a competitor, And there were several times where we had him spied, had him bottled up, had the defense right around him, and he finds a way to get out and make a play. And that's, to me, is why I think I tip the cap to them over Grand Valley.
Well, it's funny, Jim, he tried to reiterate to our audience of several times, Matoka is the Harlan Hill winner, which is the Division II Heisman, which means he was voted the best player in Division II last year. Just think about getting to go see your Heisman Trophy winner in Division II. We're playing in your backyard and go, this guy's pretty good. Well, yeah, he is pretty good.
He is good. Now he doesn't look the part, but he can play the part.
Well, and he's tough, and he's ornery. He's that Texas ornery.
Yep.
You know, and he's got a little bit of swagger to him. I think he's kind of earned that though. But
he's
Jim and I think he's been there so long. I think he was in middle school when he got there because we've seen him. We've called his number for years and years now.
There better not be a waiver to get him back next year. I don't know
if
there's one out there, but if there is, I'm going to be pissed off if he's coming back.
He'd be like, wait, what? Yeah. He's coming back?
Yeah. Hey, inside message to Ben. Can you turn that down or move it or something there? We're getting a little interference.
Getting hot.
Yeah, it's coming in hot. Turn that down a little or something. All right, next question. Listener 6. Got a lot of listeners here. So number 6 checking in tonight. What is the travel itinerary for the Fort Lewis game? What's your plan?
Yeah, so we got our walkthrough tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We will be getting on the bus around 12 o'clock, getting down there. We got some Texas barbecue that we're going to be eating in Durango.
KO's brother.
And it's going to be, we're going to do a little Family Friday. So that's one of our traditions on Fridays. We do Family Friday, so we get all of our football stuff done here when we travel. And that way when we get down there, it's just about fellowship and enjoying each other. We'll play some bags and be good.
Ben and I had a little of that Texas barbecue last year. Remember that, Ben? That was pretty good for a basketball game.
I think we're going to actually have it twice. I think we're doing it on Friday night, and then I think they're giving us tacos or something like that.
The Texas tacos.
Yeah,
on the way
after the game.
All right, Uncle Charlie checking in. Tough game, he says. Uncle Charlie's kind of the master of the obvious, but we love Charlie. He wants to say hi to Rock. Rock, Uncle Charlie says hi over there. Rock, are you awake? Rock, wake up.
Rock ate, man.
Okay, all right.
Rock had a couple pints and
yeah.
It's pint night. Thursday. It's
pint night for Rock. All right, Uncle Charlie wants to know what's it going to take to get back on track.
It's going to take us doing our job. You know, it's pack versus the pack. That's what it's about every single week, and we got to have everybody do their job. And, you know, it's just especially offensively right now. I think that's the hard, challenging thing about offensive football is. You know, defensive football, you can have 10 guys doing the wrong thing and one guy makes a play. He'll go get a pick or he'll go get a sack or whatever, and you're like, oh, that was a pretty good play call. Offensively, you got to have 11 guys on the same page doing their job every single play. If you have the left tackle that's not on the same page, well, don't matter what you got dialed up there in the pass game, it don't matter. And so we got to have guys doing their job this weekend. And again, I feel like a broken record, but we got to do our jobs.
All right, Ken checking in from the Ozarks down there. He's in his man cave. 3 losses to 3 ranked teams. What areas do you need to improve, upgrade to get back to national prominence?
It's a good question. I think, you know, you look at the best teams in the country at any level, they are dominant on the offensive and defensive line. Period, the end. You know, if you can control the line of scrimmage and you can be physical up front, you will be playing deep into December. And you look at the teams that we've lost to, they're pretty dang good up front on both sides, and so that's, you know, again, it's a process, and I told our staff this, and we will get there. We're not there yet, but we will get there. And you know, we lost 4 offensive linemen from last year's team. We lost 3 defensive linemen, 2 that made NFL camps. You know, like there's a lot there and I think we're playing pretty good on the defensive line. We're doing a really good job of getting after the quarterback and holding our gaps, but it's hard to replace those guys. And so that's where we need to make sure that we're making the investment every single year in our offensive and defensive line. And our offensive line, I thought, took a huge step forward last weekend against Mines, and we're really able to control the line of scrimmage and against a loaded box. And so we're going to continue to lean on those guys. And you know, they may be young, but we're going to look up in 2 years from now and be like, where did they get these guys? You know, and that's the exciting part.
The problem is you're like, you think like every other coach in the country at every level, we need linemen. So everybody's fighting for linemen. That's the number one get now, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, it's they, you know, if you can play at all, you're going to get there's several kids, to be honest with you, that we looked at from a transfer portal or junior college standpoint that we didn't like. Just trusted our evaluation, did not like them. That went to FCS, group of 5.
Size.
I mean, there were several kids that we offered, had on visits, felt really good about, and then a week later, Indiana offers them. And you're like, what in the world? Or how? You know, when we had a kid, you know, on campus, loved it, was all about it, went to Texas State, playing at Texas State. And so it's just that it is a very, very competitive market when it comes to offensive linemen. And so that's where, you know, realistically for us, if we want to get to where we can be from a national prominence standpoint, it has to start with high school recruiting. You have to be okay with taking a kid that's 6'6" and 230 pounds and developing him into a monster.
Right.
And when you do that, that's when you can get the Ryan Jensens. Ryan Jensen was, you know, 220 pounds or whatever it was coming out of high school. Guy's a freak. You know? And so that's what we got to do. We got to focus on that. We're gonna plug and play if we can find transfers that we feel like, you know, that's fine. That we'll let those guys come in and compete. But the best players are gonna play. But that's where you know, you really got to focus on if you want to be able to make it deep in the playoffs.
Okay, another listener wanted to know, did you entertain changing quarterbacks at all in that first half?
You know, I with Chance's injury, you know, we were kind of going back and forth on that, you know, and I kind of watch what happened last year with Stevie and then Hunter, you know, and Stevie came in and played the 4 toughest teams on the schedule, and then Hunter comes in and has a great year, and not taking nothing away from him, but you know, Chance earned the right to be the starting quarterback, and you know, we feel really good about Chance. Now, Stevie's going to have a package. He's going to be part of what we do moving forward, because he does offer a little bit more from an athletic standpoint, where he can, you know, we can go +1 in the box now because we can read a defender because of Stevie. Where with Chance, you know, that's not really his cup of tea. He's going to be able to navigate the pocket on pass game, but when it comes to running the football, you know, I think he has negative career rushing yards.
Yeah, well,
if I'm right. So.
And finally, one listener wants to know, can we expect 30 carries this week from Howard Russell? Oh, I just made that.
He
up.
would.
He's going to be our guest
was all
next.
about it.
I know there's 2 guys that would love that. Howard Russell and the offensive line coach.
Coach
right.
Kraft.
The family is tuned in. All right, that's a little preview. He's going to be our guest here after this next segment. Once again, this is the Rustler Implement. Phil Vigil Show, your local premier Kubota, Case International Harvester, and New Holland dealer. Please like their Facebook page. You got a chance to win $200 Visa gift cards there. Same family, same name out there on the Mason, as well as Rocky Ford. We are at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is pint night. It is Sweetwater Brewing night. Hazy IPA, citrus ale, and the blueberry wheat. All right. Come back after this timeout. We're going to talk to the aforementioned Howard Russell. That all comes your way next on Fox Sports Pueblo. And welcome back, ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is the Phil Vigil Show. Let's hear it, Howard. Brought to you by Rustler Implements. Yeah, there we go. Howard Russell is our special guest. A new segment here as part of the CSU Pueblo Coaches Show with Phil Vigil.
Thank you. I like that better.
You like that better? Okay.
I do.
And Howard Russell, he's a junior. He's out of Phoenix, Arizona. He comes to us via Eastern New Mexico, where he had 2 solid seasons the last couple of years. Howard, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? It's been a season of issues with all of our equipment, and we didn't have any recordings of the big run on Sunday. I record the games in the booth, but we missed your play by 30 seconds and ran out of space. But I think we can channel it and recreate it. He's at the 30, 35, 40, 50. Here we go. 40, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Thunderwolves.
Let's
Okay.
go.
That was your run there. That's your recreation.
I appreciate that.
All right.
You wish you run that fast, right?
Right. I wish.
He did get caught at the
I
end.
did.
He
I
got
did.
caught at the end and then had to stiff arm him into the ground.
He had a little bit of sprinter separation speed, though.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
You know, the reason we recruited Howard, because I played him last year when he was at Eastern, when I was at Western New Mexico. How many yards do you have against us last year?
212.
Yeah.
On 12 carries.
Yeah.
If you can't beat him, recruit him.
That's exactly right.
Right?
That's exactly right.
I think the first question I asked Howard is Pueblo better than Portales? And he said, heck yeah.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Well, Howard, talk a little bit about we'll just start here with Coach Vigil last week talked about do your job.
Right.
And, you know, against Grand Valley and against mine, do your job.
Right.
As a player, does that resonate with you? I mean, how is it? Sometimes the coaches just talk to coach, but does that resonate with you?
Absolutely. As you guys can see, I was one of the guys. You know, I got a free reps against Midwestern week 1. But after that first quarter or so, and so through the next couple games, I didn't see the field that much. And Coach and I, we sat down, and we talked about it, and he essentially said, "I need to gain your trust." Right, and that's part of doing your job. He kind of called me up. We don't use the word call out. We call each other up, right, to our potential. And he says, "Howard, I need you to do your job. Not only do your job, but I need you to do it at a high level in which I know you can." So it absolutely resonates with me at 100%.
Now, being an older player, you probably accepted that as a challenge and as being coached,
Right.
rather than
Absolutely.
as a younger guy might say, might be intimidated by that. But you had enough confidence to go talk to Coach about playing time.
Absolutely. Well, so Coach and I, we had that conversation prior to the Mines game, and the Mines game came, and I had a solid game. And Coach will tell you after the game, I called him. I said, "Hey, Coach, thank you." Right? And I said, not for playing me this game, but for not playing me the other games. There were some things I needed to learn. There's some growing up I had to do as a player and as a young man, and some of those lessons have to be taught the hard way.
Well, you have to admit, though, you got a pretty good back there sitting at number 5. He's
Oh,
not
yeah.
too bad,
Keon,
right?
He's a monster. He's a monster. Absolutely. Keon, like I told him, now we don't usually focus on results, right? We focus on the process and things that produce results. But from the moment Keon and I shook hands when I first got here, and I told him, I said, "Look, Pueblo is a school that's known for sending 2 running backs off at a time to the league and to the combines and stuff." I said, "It's our time. We can get up out of here together. We push each other, sharpen each other, iron sharpens iron, as man sharpens man." So absolutely, Keon, he's oh yeah.
Well, and the other 2 guys in that room, well, I'm sure there's more, but Jordan Jones and Adrian Soto.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a pretty good stable right there.
That's what I told Coach. I said, "Coach, I've been playing this game since I was 5 years old, but I've never been a part of a running back room like this, right? The talent that we have in just that room alone, you guys can see it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like it's we got a lot of talent for sure.
It's one of those good news, bad news things. Then
Right.
you kind of go, man,
Right.
these guys are too good. But you know
Right.
what? I'm going to get
but,
better.
But the thing about it is, we go out to practice and it's fun, right? Because we're competing, but at the end of the day, it's all love and we're trying to make each other better, right? So like I said, iron sharpens iron and man sharpens man. So having that much talent in the room, it makes all of us perform at a higher level. It helps all of us reach our potential. So that's one of the things I love about it.
You can't take reps and practice off,
Right.
because
Right.
again, it's about showing us in practice, and the best player is going to play, and so these guys, it's a very healthy competition in that room, and they push each other every time they touch the ball. What do you guys do?
We run through the end zone.
We score it
Run through
every
the
single
end zone
time,
every
and so
time.
we're just
Just
rolling those guys through.
Well, Howard, I don't want to brag or anything, but my junior year at South High School in town,
Okay.
I finished 4th in the South Central League
Oh, really?
in the golf standings.
Oh, really?
I was the 4th man on the team. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you can imagine it was a little, you had to worry about the ego thing, but we did it as a team. We ended up winning a state title.
Right,
But I'm saying
right.
you'll be all right. I guess
Right,
you guys will all be all
right.
right. Well, I'm sure you guys as a team are probably looking forward to playing somebody, to take out your aggression against an opponent maybe not quite to the level of the first 4 you played. I know Coach didn't want to hear that about facing Fort Lewis, but I'm sure there's somewhere in the back of your mind, it's got to get a little easier, doesn't it? Or
Who
is
are
it
we
just,
playing?
or it's just,
We're playing Fort Lewis.
there you go.
Who are we
But
playing?
Faces opponents. We don't
That's
look
exactly
at. We
right.
don't
There
look
you
at.
go,
I was
okay.
getting ready to say we don't. I can't speak for everyone, right? But whether you're number 2 or number 25 or not ranked at all, we don't care. We came to kick your butt, right? And it's like Coach said, we don't talk about faces opponents. We get out there and it's about the pack. It's about us getting better each and every week, day in and day out, right? And I know the last couple weeks haven't been pretty, but in my opinion, there's been a lot of growth, not only as players but as young men, and I can say that personally for myself. But it doesn't matter who we're playing, right? We're just looking the ball.
What has been your biggest adjustment personally coming from a school where you had success?
Right.
You were the guy,
Something like that.
and you were the guy, and then you come. What's been your biggest adjustment sliding into CSU Pueblo personally?
If I'm going to be honest with you, my biggest adjustment has been my faith. Right? We have a coaching staff around us, and they talk about not serving our talents, but serving our hearts. And from the moment I heard it, it blew me away because I'm someone who's big on their faith, day in and day out, because I wouldn't be here without God. Like Coach said, I had to do more, right? And in order for me to do more, I had to root myself in something that was bigger than football because, like Coach says, it's bigger than football. Football is just a tool that we use, right, to ultimately fulfill God's plan for us. So I would say the biggest adjustment has been my faith. I've grown tremendously in my faith.
All right. What are you looking forward to this weekend? What's the scout? What does it tell you? What are the opportunities that are there for you in this ball game, do you feel?
As far as opportunities, we're going to get them, right? And if we got to take the little ones, the little plays, and then we get the big ones. When the big ones come, we got to take advantage of them. One of the things about me is we talk about the power of visualization. And I'm a guy who likes to visualize things and take my times and process things and all that kind of stuff. And I practice how I play, so when I play, it's practice. Simple as that, right? And when I get into the game, that's why we run through the end zone, right? So when we get into the game, it's easy.
That's old school pack football. That's pre-Coach Vigil. Back in the first Riston days, the running backs coach when this program first started was Steve Sewell, who played for the Denver Broncos. And he made those running backs on every drill of every play take it to the house. Right. So they got
to practice making big plays.
So they got used to taking it to the house. Right. And when they didn't, the first guys to call them out were the other running backs.
Exactly.
It's like you didn't take that to the house.
Exactly. And that's something that Coach Vigil's embedded in us. He told us, you maybe had to yell at us one time, hey, run through the end zone. And ever since then, like I said, we got too much talent in the back room to let one of us go down, right? So if there's a time where I don't sprint through the end zone, Keon, Soto, Jordan, Howard, run, finish. And, oh, my goodness. It's the same exact thing. And that's why one of the things I love about Coach Vigil.
Well, the worst ambassadors in Pueblo are the people that live here. The best ambassadors generally are the people that get a chance to come here.
Right.
What's been your experience being here?
It's crazy that you say that because literally all the Pueblo natives I've asked, like, how do you like it? Everyone always say, like, the first opportunity I get to leave, I'm gone, right? But for me, I love it. I come from a small town down in Florida. I know my bio will tell you I'm from Phoenix, but it's been 10 and 10. Right? I grew up in Florida, but I was raised in Arizona. That's how I say it. But I'm a small town guy. I don't like too much of the traffic. The city life is nice, but I don't mind the small, quiet country town. You know what I mean? So I like it. The weather's great, right? It's not 100, 16, 118 every day.
That's for sure.
Right? And then even in the mornings, like sometimes we get a fog, and I wake up and go outside and
yes,
clean air.
You know what I mean? Clean air, exactly.
Clean air.
What do you think about the tarantulas you've been seeing in
practice?
Man,
don't even get me started. I'm terrified of spiders. So that's the first negative for sure.
I saw my first one today. You do take a look, you go, whoa,
right?
Oh, yeah. You pick them up and let them crawl on you.
We always thought when
put them on your head.
Absolutely not.
When they changed this used to be the Indians, and we always thought the great name to change it to was be the tarantulas, man. And that would have the spider web and the whole, and then it didn't fly. But guys like you wouldn't come there because it would be. I ain't playing for no spiders.
We had a couple on the field the other day, and I made sure to stay far away as I could.
That's right.
That's the fastest I've ever seen him run.
Well, Howard, it's been a giant success. You're our first ever player guest on the show. Your coach suggested it. I think it's a great. We'll do it again next week.
Coach, I appreciate it.
Somebody different though. We're tired of you.
Unless you go for 225 and 3.
Yeah, then you might. Yeah, that's how you can
back.
return
visit. I'm not gonna put any numbers on it, but the plan is definitely to go out there and take it to the next level.
Yeah,
what I mean, kind of get better from what we did last week.
Sure.
So absolutely.
All right. Special thanks to our guest Howard Russell, running back for the Thunderwolves. This is the Rustler Implement Phil Vigil Show. They're your local premier Kubota Case International Harvester and New Holland dealer. Please like their Facebook page. Same name, same family since 1960. We're at ThunderZone Pizza Tap House. Back with more. We'll talk about Fort Lewis. That all comes your way next on Fox Sports Pueblo. And welcome back to ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is the Phil Vigil Show. I almost said the Phil Riston Show. That would have been a hybrid.
Man.
The old hybrid. Sooner or later, that's going to happen.
How come I had to take his last name?
Right? The John Vigil Show. John Vigil's not a very popular name in Pueblo.
Is it not?
There's like 7,000
Yeah,
of them.
exactly.
Okay.
All right, Phil. Rustler Input sponsor the show. We are at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is Pint Night, Sweetwater Brewing. We're only 10 minutes away, Phil. From you going to go hazy? You going to go citrus? You going to go blueberry?
Man, I love
Coors Light.
hazies. I'm a big hazy fan.
Okay. All right. I think I might go that way too. I'm not. Blueberries got me scared.
I like the fruit, and I like.
Well, it just goes without saying.
And I like the ciders too. I broaden my horizons, gentlemen.
I still think I'm going to try it on cereal.
I'm comfortable in my own skin.
All right, Fort Lewis Skyhawks. I mean, you got to love the head coach down there. I mean, he's a Fort Lewis guy, and last year he kind of cleaned house, and it looks like this year, by looking at the roster, he said, I got to clean house. He's going to just keep cleaning house till he gets it right. He's got a lot of young players that he wants to build from within, try to change the culture of things, and get it turned around. What do you see with this program?
Oh, he definitely has flipped his roster. They have 75 new players on their roster this year. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of kids.
That's Dion-esque.
It is, and you know who recruited him to Fort Lewis, don't you?
Phil Vigil?
John Riston.
John Riston.
Riston
with Gary Barnett.
John Riston recruited him down to Fort Lewis.
Wow.
He played at Fort Lewis.
A little synergy.
Coach Riston told me that today. He's like, make sure you tell Coach Cox that. And no, he's done a really good job down there. And I know, again, he's trying to find the right, mixture, just like we are right now, and we definitely can't take anyone lightly. We're not in the position to be able to do that. And we've got to go down there and the ebbs and flows of the season, and we got to go down there and play our game.
Well, I think for Johnny, it's just Johnny Cox we're talking about. Just you got to hit on a couple of guys that just make people want to go there. Then you have to kind of not only change the football culture, you got to change the culture of the school. I mean, it seems like they just care about soccer, and their basketball programs have been good.
Their men's basketball program's really good.
So you just need to figure out a way to get that support behind the football program. A new facility would be nice, but you look across the way where the soccer stadium is at first rate, and the football stadium, a little so-so. But you got to hand it to him for sticking with it, and I think he's the right guy for the job.
He's a great guy. He's a great coach, and I know that he's going to do and has done a really good job there. And so again, we got to go down there and play our game. That's what it comes down to is us against us, and we got to play our game. And if we go in there, and I've been preaching it all week long, if we go in there and think that they're just going to roll over because we have a Thunderwolf on our jersey, we have another thing coming to us.
Well, you've given them prime examples of that.
We definitely have. We talked about 2017. We talked about 2014. We talked about losing a 42-game win streak there, and we've got some weather that potentially could be coming in and on Saturday, and so talk to them about 2014. There's a 2-hour, 15-minute rain delay with no rain,
right?
And we got to be ready for anything. And so I said, it don't matter if it's muddy, nasty, if it's near perfect, it doesn't matter. We got to be ready to go.
I would think the thing you're preaching is be physical. Knock the guy that's in front of you. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. I'm going to knock this guy on his butt that's in front of me. That's what I have to do.
It really, that's what football comes down to, is winning your one-on-ones. You're going to have 60, 70, 80 one-on-ones. Can you win those? And if you win those, majority of the time, you're going to win the football game. And so we got to go down there and we got to win our one-on-ones and take care of the football offensively, protect Chance. I think, obviously our plan is to run the football. When we do that, they're going to have to overload the box. And when they do, we've got to be able to win our one-on-ones on the edge. And when those opportunities come, we got to make them pay. And so that's what we got to do offensively, defensively. They're pretty balanced in what they do offensively. They got two quarterbacks that they play with. Number 14, Braden Wingle. He's their main guy. He's more their thrower. They bring in this other kid, number 12, that is a runner, very athletic, can throw it as well. But they'll kind of play both of them here or there, depending on the situation. But they are balanced. We've got to be able to stop the run. We've got to find a way to get off the field on third down, something we did not do a great job of on Saturday against Mines. And then we got to create some turnovers defensively. We did one on Saturday, but we got to find a way to get back to what we were doing against Midwestern State, and creating multiple turnovers in a game and letting our guys go out there and play fast.
I suppose when it comes down to it, it's just not give them any hope. When you're facing a team that doesn't have a great record, the minute you give them a little hope, a little want to, that's when bad things can happen, isn't it?
It's anything. In any sports contest, you let a team hang around long enough, they're gonna have a shot. And 2017 again, same thing.
Right.
I showed them. I said, what does this say? This little excerpt, and it was Fort Lewis gets up 21-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, we gotta start fast. We gotta take care of the football, and we gotta execute. And if we do that, I take the pack every single day of the week, regardless of who we're playing. And so we're definitely not taking the Skyhawks lightly. They've done a good job there, and they've flipped their program from a roster standpoint. And we got to go back up there and do our job.
I guess one other thing, too, is develop confidence. If we have a bad play, don't let it ruin the next 2 or 3 plays.
No doubt. And you have to have confidence. You have to be able to. I told our team today, like if it doesn't matter how good of a football player you are, if you're not right between the ears, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And so you got to be able to have confidence. And how do you get confidence? You get confidence through preparation and work. That's how you gain confidence. And Coach Mack, our special teams coordinator, always says it all the time. The secret's in the dirt. The secret's in the dirt.
Right?
It's not sexy. It's about getting your hands dirty and doing the same thing over and over and over again until you get that confidence to be able to play and perform at a high level. And so our guys are continuing to keep their head down. What do you control? How do we get better? Saturday's result is about us being great right now, because this is all we got. All we got right now is Thursday night in study hall. How do I be great in study hall at 7 o'clock on Thursday? And if I'm doing those little things and controlling what I can control right now, the result will take care of itself. And Howard said it too. He's like, we don't focus on results. We focus on the process, because the process is what's going to ultimately get us the results. And we've got to continue to, a lot of times in our profession, you're in a situation where we're in right now where it's like, okay, we're 1-3, and from an outside perspective, you're like, oh man, we believe what we believe because we know it works. And we're going to lean into that. We're not going to shy away from that. It's not time to reinvent the wheel. It's time to lean into it and say, okay, who really wants to be here? Who really believes? Because when it's easy and you're winning games and everybody's getting their carries or everybody's getting their stats, it's easy to believe then. But when it's 1-3, do you still believe? And I know we have a team that they all believe, and so we're going to go out there and we're going to give it our best. I'm excited to watch them go out there and fly around and make some plays. I told them today, have some fun. Football's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, who knew that Ben Hogan was a great football coach?
Right?
It's in the dirt, baby.
It's in the dirt.
It's in the dirt.
But I like the faceless
He's a big
opponent.
golfer. He's a big golfer, so that's where he got that.
Yeah.
I like the faceless opponent thing. I really do. I think, especially this week, it's 0-0. You're 0-0, they're 0-0.
Yep.
You're going to line up. We'll see what happens.
All right. That's about do it. We're out of time.
Well, it went good.
Plus, it's time for
Pints.
Pint night.
Pint night,
Rustler
that's right.
Produce.
We
or
thank everybody
Rustler
here.
From Implements.
at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. We thank our title sponsor, Russell Instruments, as well. Phil Vigil, the head coach. My partner is Joe Cervi. Aaron Kinnischtzke's been our producer and engineer tonight of the Phil Vigil Show. And, of course, this guy. What's his name?
Ben Greenberg.
Ben Holland.
Dr. P made an appearance, too.
Is he here?
Dr. P.
There he is.
Dr.
The
P.
main man, the athletic director.
He's
Paul
the good luck
Brooks.
charm.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we'll have the ball game for you on Saturday, 11:30 pregame show.
11:30
pregame show,
12
noon kickoff from Fort Lewis. We'll have the ball game for you right here. For my partner Joe Cervi, for the head coach Phil Vigil, for Aaron Kinnischtzke, I'm Jim Brooks, bidding you good night.